Hi guys, welcome to the first video in a series of SolidWorks videos that I'll be recording for you. This is just a very quick video that outlines how to get started in SolidWorks after you download it. And just kind of the layout of the screen and what's happening. So I won't be doing any drawing per se in this video, just kind of introducing the layout. So when you open up SolidWorks 2022 or whatever year, there's loads of different versions of it, this is what you'll see. For the very first time, you will get a little window, a pop-up window here that will ask you to set the units, and I think the standard, the drawing standards or something like that, always choose millimeters, grams and seconds. That's one option. MMGS, millimeters, grams and second, and then for the other one, choose ISO. That's International Standards so I can't remember what it means. So millimeters, grams and seconds and ISO, choose them two. So if you're at this screen, then you'll see this bar at the side here. So if you just hover over that line there, you can drag it. I always drag this right to the side. I get it out of the way. We don't need to see what's in there. We will be using that bar from time to time, but at the moment we don't need it. Okay, so I'll just close that over there. The next thing what I'll do is I'll go to this button here, and it's to create a new model. Well, you can either do a part, an assembly, or a drawing. At some stage we'll be doing all three of these, but by and large we'll be using a part or drawing a part. So click part, which is automatically selected, and then OK. Okay, so here's the layout of SolidWorks, and you can see here you kind of have this weird faded grey background here. I always like to have that on. If it's completely like a dark grey for you, go up to this button here, and it's called Apply Scene, and make sure 3-point faded is selected. Okay, so select it. It might ask you to click OK or something about scenes and settings and stuff like that. So just click OK, and you'll have that there. So that's what your layout should be like. This is your drawing space here. You'll see down the bottom left, you have this triad, an X, Y, and Z triad. Okay, so X-axis, Y-axis, and Z-axis. That's our 3 dimensions. That bar is still there. We can call up any of these at any time we want. We don't want that for now. If you're ever closing down a model in SolidWorks, we never use this one up here, because you've probably figured out now, depending on your computer, it was quite maybe a long process to open SolidWorks up. If you click this X up here, it closes, it completely shuts down SolidWorks. Okay, and if you want to open something again, if you're flicking between different models, we don't want to have to be opening and closing SolidWorks. So if you're closing a model, we always use this one here. Okay, and I'll just show you here. So close. Okay, and we're back to this. Okay, so if we want to open a new one, we can go to open, find your file, etc. Okay, so we'll just go again here. Okay, so that's our workspace. That's our triad there. We're in an isometric view. We should all know what isometric means at this stage. There's a bar that I always set up here. Maybe I'll get to that in a minute. I'll just explain this one here. This is our sidebar, or sometimes called our design tree or command manager. Design manager, it has a few different names. I call it the design tree. At the moment here now, like the first 1, 2, 3, the first 4 or 5 things there, I wouldn't really worry about for now. We're interested in these planes here. Okay, so if I click on that one there, that's my front plane. So that's like an elevation. Then I can click that one there. That's a plan view or a top view or a top plane. Just like what we do in orthographic projection and auxiliary projection, perspective projection, axonometric projection, we're drawing on a plane, a flat 2-dimensional surface. So even though it's a 3-dimensional drawing package, we do our sketching or our drawings in 2D and we make them 3D. Okay, so front plane, top plane, right plane. If you want to select multiple items altogether, I'm going to try select all these 3 planes here. I hold down the CTRL or the control key. So I'm holding that down. I've already clicked the front plane, click top plane, click right plane, and you can see all 3 views there. Okay, so that's just the 3 of them. You have this other thing here called the origin. And the origin is, it's like the center, it's like a start point. So if I just highlight the 3 planes here, you'll notice where that origin is. See that little dot there? It's the intersection of all 3 planes. It's where 3 planes cross over, they intersect at a point. Okay. Now, there's a toolbar that I want you to open. It's the View toolbar. Okay, and if I click up to this gray area here, actually, one thing I need you to check. Down at the bottom right, we should see mmgs. If you have IPS, I want you to immediately change it to mmgs. We do not use inches, pounds as our units of measurement. We use the metric system, so it's millimeters, grams, and seconds. Okay, so make sure that mmgs is selected. Okay, where do we go from here? Okay, so this toolbar here. Okay, I'm just going to drag it out. Sorry, that's not the one I wanted. It was the other one beside it. This one here. That's our standard views toolbar. I use this a lot personally. Okay, so how do we get that? So up here, we right click in this gray area, go to toolbars, and we're looking for standard views. Make sure that that's darkened or pressed. Okay. I'm turning off standard. I don't need standard there, but yeah, standard views, and it'll pop open. I'm just going to dock it and just literally dragging it up here. I will be using that all the time. So this lets me go to a normal view, which I'll explain another time. Front view, back view, left side view, right side view, top view, underneath view, isometric, trimetric, and dimetric. We should remember them from doing axonometric projection. Okay, it's just three different three-dimensional views. There is another way that we can look at our three different views. So I'm just going to highlight the planes here just to show you. So that's isometric. That's what we start off with. That's trimetric and that's dimetric. Here's a front view. Here's a back view, so it flips around to the back. Here's a left side view. Here's the right side view, top view, underneath view, and back to isometric. Okay, there is another way, and I'll talk about how I'm moving that around in a second, but there is another way that we can look at these views here. If we go to this view here, view orientation, and open that, this is why I don't like using it. Look, there's all them views there that's up in the docked toolbar. But this cube pops up and it's fine. Front view, that would be a left view, front view, top view, and all that. This is your isometric view. It's grand. I just find it a bit tedious. Okay, I don't like it at all. Maybe you do. So mess around with it yourself and see what you think. I always use these by default. Okay. I'll just highlight a view there. Now, how did I rotate the model there a second ago like this? Okay, so it's very simple. On your mouse, you know the wheel on your mouse button. If you hold that down, press the wheel down like a button and hold it, and then just move your mouse, and we're in a free rotation mode. Okay, simple. Now, we have a zoom function. It's using the wheel again. So if I roll the mouse in and out, now you can see you'll find it hard to control. I want you to get a bit of practice with this. The zoom is hard to control. Now the way the zoom works is, if I zoom in and out, see the way I'm rolling the scroll wheel there in and out. Look, it's gone off the page. Okay. If you ever get lost, if you can't see your model and it's gone off the page, double click the wheel as a button. So remember that wheel we used a second ago? Double click it as a button. 1, 2. And it should, I think I have a problem with my wheel, do I actually? Yeah, that's a bit weird for me. I think there's something wrong with my scroll wheel, and it's not fully working. Usually, and I don't know why it is, usually when you double click that wheel, it should bring your model back into the center. So if I go off the page like that, I should be able to, maybe it's because I have these selected. No, I don't know why that is. I'll figure it out in a minute. Anyway, so we want our model to be back on the screen. Okay, I have to figure that out. It could be my mouse. Right, the other thing, so how to get control of that zoom. So the way the zoom works is, if there's an area you want to zoom into, put your mouse over it, or if you want to zoom out from an area, put your mouse over that area and roll it. So as long as I keep it there on the word right, I will zoom into the word right. If I keep it there on right and zoom out, it'll zoom out and it'll keep right kind of where the mouse is. Okay, so it's all about the mouse placement when you're doing your rotation. Okay. I'm just going to draw a quick cube. Okay, so front plane. Now what I want to do is look in at the front plane like a sheet of paper, like it's a drawing. I never or rarely draw in a three-dimensional mode. So what I want to do is I could either click this here, front view, or this is a better one. This is called normal to. Now, if you think about in graphics, what does the word normal mean? It means perpendicular to. So this is a perpendicular view. How we look at planes normally when we draw them, when we're drawing on them. So click the normal to view, and look at that now. It's not a three-dimensional rectangle, it's a two-dimensional rectangle. Okay, so front plane, that's the plane I'm about to draw on. I'm going to draw a square, and I'm looking normal to it. Next thing is we go up here and we have our sketch toolbar. So these are the two most common ones we'll use here, sketch and features. So I'm going to go to sketch. We always sketch in 2D first. And it's just a quick cube that I'm going to draw. So it's based on the rectangle command, okay? And I'm going to use what's called a center rectangle. This is a corner rectangle where you pick a corner and you drag it. I want to be able to land the center of it. So go to the pull down menu here, go to center rectangle, and I'm going to draw it at my origin here. Okay, this is the origin, where all the planes intersect. I'll just choose that as a starting point. I never randomly pick. We always try and pick a reference point. So what I'm going to do is hover over that point. You'll see it turned into a little orange dot. I click once. I'm not holding my mouse button, and I just drag it out to any size you want and click again. That was literally 2 clicks that I done. You'll notice that it's all shaded in the center of it. That means it's a fully enclosed 2D shape. It's not open like a U shape or an N shape or a C shape. So it's completely enclosed. The next thing I want to do is put some, now just green tick that there. The next thing I want to do is put some dimensions on it. So go to sketch, so smart dimension, and look how easy it is here. I can either click the end point of the line that I want to put the 2 endpoints, and I'm going to make that, let's round it up to 80. So type 80 and press either the green tick or enter. So I can click the end points of the line, or now I'm still in dimension command. How do I know that? Because this dimension bar is open here. Or I can just click the line itself. So that's a width, and this is the height. Drag it out. Try keep the, don't be at this crack here dragging out. Try keep them in nice and neat and close like that. So click, type 80 and press enter. Now you'll notice that all 4 lines have gone completely black. So if I go back here, this is your back arrow by the way. If I go back until that's gone, now notice how that 2 of the lines are black, the 2 sides, and these 2 ones here are blue. And the reason that is because these 2 lines here are defined, which means that they have a distance. Now, here's another thing. If you want to change your measurement, okay, it's not set in stone. I don't have to delete it and do it again. Just double click on the number. I'll do that again. Okay, and type 80. There we are. So these 2 lines here are black is because they're black because we have a set distance between them. Okay, they're what's called fully defined. So I want to do the same for this space between this line and this line. So that would be obviously putting dimension here on that. Now look, I came out of by accident there, smart dimension. So I'm going back into it. Click the line, drag it out, type 80. Now those 2 lines are turned to black. That's what we're aiming for. All black lines and circles and arcs when we're ready to move on to the next stage. If everything is blue, it means your model is underdefined. So how do I go on from here? So close that down. This is your accept and move on or end sketch. So I'm going to click that there. Okay, and now it's gone grey. It's gone grey because I'm not in sketch mode anymore. And over here on the right, you'll see that I have a sketch. Okay, and I can go back and edit that at any time. If I right click on it and go to this first option here, I'm back in sketch mode. Everything is kind of active and live. I can change stuff there if I want. Now I want to rename that. So I'm going to right click on sketch 1, and there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can press F2 on the keyboard, or you can click it once, and then once it's highlighted, click it once again. And I'm going to call this square. Okay, it's good to name everything. It's good. A good process to do that. So press enter. So that's square. Now what I want to do is make it 3D. So I'm going to go to my 3D isometric view here. Zoom out a wee bit. And I want to go to this toolbar here, which is called features. And this is your first feature. This is basically all the 3D stuff here. I go to extruded boss base. And notice how it's already selected the square that I previously drew. The last thing you drew, and it automatically goes to extrude it in this case. So I'm going to click it again. Notice how it's not doing it now because I pressed escape. So if this happens here, if it doesn't automatically select, just go to the thing you want to do and click any part of it, and it'll take that whole sketch. If you click one part of it, and it'll make it 3D. Now it's going to be a cube. So remember we've done 80 by 80. So in this bar here, I'm going to type 80. Press enter. And you can see what it's doing. It's making it 3D in that direction. That's called blind. It'll blindly do it in one direction. However, I want to choose a different one. I want to go to midplane. And this is like a symmetric. So look, the blue one is the original sketch. So what it's doing now is it's going, so 80 in total. So it's going 40 to the right, 40 to the left. I think it's nice. I like symmetry and stuff like that. So I'll choose that. Green tick. So type in your 80, mid-plane, green tick. And that is your cube done. You can now rotate it, admire it, do what you can. Shadows on it, yeah. I'll do one more thing, okay? I'm going to use another thing called how many minutes is this video? 15. One quick thing, we're going to round the corners or the edges on the cube, soften them up. So we go to features, and we've done extrude. We go over here to fillet. So fillet is when we round the corner. So click fillet. Down here, I'm going to make it a 5mm radius fillet. So type in 5 there. And what I'm going to do is, now we can click individual lines to fillet, or if you click a whole surface, it'll take all the lines or curves that's attached to that surface and fillet them. Watch this. So instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm just going to click the whole square, and it's doing all of them. I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to do the same. Notice how it's giving you a preview. So it's rounding all the corners. Go around to the back. Now, imagine how long that would take if I had to click all 12 edges of that cube. It would have taken forever. So I've done it in a kind of a smart and quick way. Make sure everything is selected. Green tick. Lovely job. Now you can see you have lovely rounded corners on it. Let's reset it to a isometric view. Last thing is I'm going to put some materials on it. So go to this little colored globe up here. This is your appearances. Double click on color. Go to the pull down menu. I'm going to make it a plastic. I'm going to make it high gloss, and I'm going to choose down the bottom, I'm going to choose green, and I take that color and I drag it onto the object. And now there's a few options here which I'll explain later, but just go to the one that says body or either part 3 body, okay? And that's our cube done. When you're done, I always reset it back to a perfect isometric view. I go to file, save as. I'm going to save it on my desktop. I'm going to call it cube, desktop, grand, save. And that is now saved on my desktop. Okay, so that is your introduction lesson to SolidWorks. I want you to try this at home when you have it downloaded. Just to give you a heads up, when we start this in class, we're going to be going hell for leather at it. So you need to be keeping up with all of this stuff here. Okay, keeping on top of it. If you miss a class, make sure you catch up. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll talk to you again. Good luck.